Hello. Thank you for watching this, and I hope it is helpful to you. I'm including a video of me making some art for a game I am designing that I hope can help people with CPTSD and dissociation. So keep an eye out for that. I am going to release it in parts so I can get it to people as fast as possible and get feedback on what works and what I can improve on. Okay, in this video I want to talk about what to expect when coming out of long-term collapse. I want to warn people that this is going to discuss things that could cause concern and worry, but I am discussing it in the hopes of helping people mitigate most of that by being educated and prepared. That said, as with all my videos, I am discussing difficult topics, so go slow and be kind to yourself as you view them. Education is useful, but we can also overwhelm ourselves. So with that out of the way, let's get into the topic. I am going to discuss my own personal experience and add in other research on this topic. The past few months, I have been slowly coming out of long-term collapse, one that lasted 5 years. If you don't know what that is, look at my past videos on the topic. In short, I was like the living dead, a zombie. I was moving around, but I was completely checked out. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel emotions. I didn't have any desires or hopes. I was just alive. My best guess is that a few months ago I started to wake up. It was an extremely slow process, so slow that it really only has been the past few weeks I've been able to become aware of what is happening to me. The biggest thing that was different was I was having horrible panic attacks. I thought those were a thing of the past, but they were back and worse than ever. What I am beginning to realize is that whereas before I felt nothing, now I am starting to feel again. The problem is that I am not used to it. Everything is too much. Even the sensation of digesting food is too much. It freaks me out and sends me into overload. If I get any sort of pain, I instantly think the worst and spiral into a panic attack. A few months ago, I had one that lasted over 48 hours. It was nearly unbearable. I couldn't eat or sleep. This past few months, I have lost 20 pounds. I am down to my teenage weight, which is probably good, but it was not worth the misery. Today I had this sick feeling. I couldn't understand what it was. After a while I realized I was sad. I had a memory of being a kid. I used to have to go to work with my dad doing stone masonry. When you are very little, like 7 or 8, it's just so depressing to be on a work site. No toys, no kids, nothing there is made for you. I just remember feeling this sick feeling. By that age, I had been shamed to not cry or show sadness. Well, anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. The point is, I realized I was sad. I just couldn't feel it. What I did feel was what sadness is like if it's locked behind glass. That's the best way I can describe it. Everyone is different and will experience this uniquely. Instead of fear, you may feel anger or rage. You may become aware of old injuries you hadn't felt in a long time. You may have digestion problems. I think the key takeaway is to understand that waking up comes at a cost, but eventually you will acclimate. So if you are stuck in long-term collapse, expect that when you start to come out of it, you will be overwhelmed by everything. I hope this isn't scary to people, but empowers them, and that they can not be so scared like I was and still am at times. Here's a bit of science and terminology to better help you understand what is happening. Autonomic hierarchy means your nervous system functions in a specific order. You can't jump straight from shutdown, dorsal, to calm, ventral. You must pass through the middle state, sympathetic mobilization, which is fight or flight. Interoception is the 8th sense, your brain's ability to feel the inside of your body, heartbeat, hunger, muscle tension, gut sensations. In dorsal shutdown, the insula, the part of the brain responsible for interoception, often goes offline or dampens signals to protect you from pain. Neuroception, coined by Dr. Stephen Porges, describes how your nervous system scans for safety or danger below your conscious awareness. In shutdown, your neuroception was stuck on life threat. As you emerge, your neuroception might glitch, reading neutral things like a loud noise, a sudden movement, as dangerous. This causes false alarms or sudden spikes in heart rate. Last, hypoarousal, too little activation. Emerging from it pushes you towards hyperarousal, too much activation. Also, neurogenic tremors is a primal recovery reflex. When the freeze energy, which is actually high revving energy that is locked down, is released, the muscles may involuntarily shake, vibrate, or twitch. I discussed this in my last video, but endogenous opioid withdrawal. During deep shutdown, the brain releases natural painkillers. Endogenous opioids and endocannabinoids to numb the pain of the inescapable threat, which means coming out of shutdown is chemically similar to mild withdrawal. You may feel raw, achy, sensitive to light, sound, and emotionally skinless. The natural anesthesia is wearing off. Another topic I've talked about in older videos, window of tolerance, the zone of arousal where you can function effectively. Coming out of collapse usually means your window is very narrow. Small stressors that wouldn't bother others might send you spiraling back into shutdown or exploding into anger. Okay, in my next and last video of this series on collapse, I will discuss how to come out of long-term collapse. I will also give some tips on how to deal with it, things I've had to learn on my own through trial and error. What about you guys? Have any of you come out of long-term collapse? Do you have any things you noticed that I didn't mention? Share it in the comments so others can learn. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you. If you want to help me, you can make a donation at the link below. You can also like this video, which tells the YouTube algorithm to promote it to more people. You can subscribe to my channel and get my new videos in your feed. You can also comment below. I don't always have the energy to reply, but I do read your comments, and they help motivate me to keep making these videos. Thank you again, and I hope we all can find ways to better live and thrive with these mental health burdens.